Hi, hello. This is another spontaneous ramble thingy. Now, I just kind of had the thought pop up about friends while I was just listening to a song, and I just kind of wanted to talk about that because it's kind of a strange sensation to me. So, we all have friends, right? Probably some friends you trust more, probably some friends you trust less. Some friends you barely talk to, some friends you almost daily talk to, maybe almost every hour. Maybe you call them, maybe you never call them. And it's kind of interesting how we work in a mental way. If we won't have someone to support us, and we won't have someone who will listen to us and make us feel better, our emotional dread rises and we just kind of lose our will to live. I wonder why it's so mentally degrading when you have no one to talk to. It's not like I don't have anyone to talk to. I have plenty of people to talk to. I should talk more. But it interests me why most of the time we act like this. Why we crave this possible attention, and why we possibly just want to have a fun time with someone. Having fun is a crucial part, at least to me, in a friendship. If you're not enjoying the friendship, if you don't have fun playing the game with your friend, what are you even doing? They're not your friend, they're just acquaintances. The same goes to those people who constantly feel lonely or feel like they don't get enough attention from their friends. What are you doing having such friends and not looking for new ones that will actually be a real friend to you? I take a great issue with people who constantly claim they're lonely and they have no one to talk to. Because sometimes they do have someone to talk to, they just don't start a conversation. If you feel lonely, you should start a conversation with someone. Someone you like, someone you trust. Should be someone you enjoy talking to. If you have no one to talk to, or you have no one you trust really to talk to, go on a forum, look up some sort of community where you can share your thoughts and feelings. You could get some enjoyment out of just enjoying what you like. Video games are a very good example with friends. If there's a game you both like, you both play it probably together. If you never have, you should try it. If there is a game that your friend doesn't like but you do, they should be fine with you playing that game. Because in the end, it's your opinion and it's your own taste. They don't have to like everything that you like, and so it goes the same for you. Just because you disagree with something, you should never personally attack them or insult them for having a different opinion. That's what I think real friends are. People who will apologize to you when they're in the wrong, people who will acknowledge their faults, people who make you seem comfortable and you enjoy talking to, and just, in general, being good people to you. What are you doing out there if you have a toxic friend circle and you're not doing anything about it? Are you just gonna stand there? Are you just gonna contribute in the issue? Are you just going to continue ignoring the issue you have up front? You shouldn't. That's the answer. If you're looking for a call to end a relationship that you don't like or you feel has become toxic, I'm calling it now. End it. And I don't want to hear any exceptions. You should end a relationship if you're unhappy. You should end a relationship if it feels one-sided. You should speak up about it if it bothers you. And most importantly, you should criticize your friends. I don't like the type of people who act like a pushover to you, who just accept everything you dislike, but then gossip about you behind your back. I especially cannot stand those friends, and I had several of those kinds of people. And that's exactly what I think you should also do. You should criticize your friends, and you should let them know if something bothers you. I'll repeat it again. Criticize your friends if something bothers you. What are you doing not standing up for yourself and, just continuing to live with it? Are you going to hold it any longer? Isn't it mentally draining whenever you have to shut up about something you don't like about them? Maybe you should let them know that it's wrong to do this. Maybe you should let them know they're being rude. Maybe you should let them know that they shouldn't act like you and creepily go into every chat you are in. Maybe you should avoid the person you don't like. Maybe you should get out of that server or that friend circle where you don't feel comfortable. I'm calling it now. If whoever listens to this and they feel they are stuck, they should talk to a different person that they can trust and that will not tell anyone anything about it. You should possibly talk to your friends and ask about a certain person that might make you uncomfortable, and ask them if they had similar experiences. It's not gossiping if you are actually wondering what is up with the person. As long as you are respectful and civil about it, no one is going to think that you're gossiping for speaking up when something bothers you. Same goes for communities. If you're in a big community and something bothers you, you should speak up about it. You should never be silent about things that bother you. I'm saying that because most of the time, communities tend to not band together to get rid of someone, but they cancel the wrong people. I don't want to point fingers, but I know Steven Universe is kind of an issue about it. More I'm not going to say, and if you're a Steven Universe fan, don't worry, you're most likely a good person. It's just a few really tiny, minuscule people in the fandom that might ruin it. But you are not the reason why it's most likely a bad fandom to be in a sense of a toxic mindset that the community has sometimes. Now, this video is not about, communities, mostly. I'm bad at making examples. I mean, my own community is very toxic if you think about it. Especially about games and things like those, where you have to have a very open mind in order to accept criticism about a certain thing you like, or to accept that not every single game from the same developer could be perfect. That is all understandable to me. And I totally understand when people are afraid to speak up. I myself am the type of person to really not speak up if something bothers me, if it doesn't step over a line. But you should always speak up about it, especially if it's a community. Communities are a hive mind. It's understandable that you possibly wouldn't want an entire community to be alarmed about this one person you do not like. The issue lies in the issue. Because if you have an issue with them, it's most likely nothing big, unless you get easily upset about certain behavior. If there's something about the person that might feel off about it, you should let people know, but not gossip about them in a way of, hey, I think this person sucks. I don't think they're a very nice person. That is not the way to do it. The way to correctly actually ask about confirmation is, hey, I wonder, has this ever happened to you? Have you ever seen the person act up like that? And show evidence, most importantly. You cannot just make empty accusations and expect everyone to believe you. If you really want to be safe that people will trust you in your own opinion, then you should give them a screenshot and you should show what the behavior you're meaning about should be shown. The most important thing about that is especially if you have a problem that is severe. I'm talking about so severe that it's possibly pedophiles and it's possibly creeps that are not welcome in a community, that ruin a community. You should speak up definitely about those kinds of things, and if they're a friend, if you have a predator as a friend, you should immediately cut contact. One thing that predators do is they act quite manipulative, and that's exactly how they get victims to, listen to them. You shouldn't doubt people who've done terrible things. You should convict them. You should never hesitate to hold them accountable for their actions. Same goes to all of my friends, same goes to other friends, same goes to me. Towards other people. There is a lot to talk about when it comes to friendships and connections, and especially a community, but the most important part about communication is to give them time and to always have a doubt if there's an immediate accusation. We've seen this year that a lot of predators have come out of certain communities, especially out of gaming communities, and, most prevalent predators being unfortunately on Discord, which is really, really concerning, considering that the TOS is 13, and, most 13-year-olds are probably gonna be on Discord, alongside with adult people, and it could derail very quickly, so we should always take matters into hands if we see something weird pop up, and we should always gather screenshots if there's something suspicious. It's not bad to gather screenshots. I don't think it's bad to hoard them. I think it's best to keep them, and if the time comes where someone questions it, you show them the evidence that they are right, or if they're not right. because you haven't seen that behavior, or you've either seen that behavior. False accusations are the worst things a person can do, in my opinion, at least on a social contact point. Physical abuse and other things are definitely way more severe, but on a talking standpoint of just conversation and online conversations, I think lying about someone in order to get them cancelled or in order for friend groups to leave them because of false accusations is the most scummiest thing you could do ever. I hope that if someone watches this and plans to do that, you'll stop doing that. It's not nice to attack other people just because you disagree with them, nor do I think it's alright if you start such things, if you start witch hunts, if you start to cancel someone that didn't deserve it. Aside that, I could actually talk a little about cancel culture. I don't like cancel culture. Let me be clear. Most of the time, cancel culture gets wrong who the victim is, because they see one piece of the evidence but never ask about the other side, and never have a benefit of the doubt, and then immediately go after the person that was falsely accused. We've had many situations last year in 2020 happen with false accusations as well as correct accusations. We should never discredit victims, but victims should also show evidence. If a victim doesn't show clear evidence, ask for more evidence instead of immediately doubting them that they are fake or they're looking for attention. Many people jump to conclusions when it comes to those issues that we have in our society. And yes, I'm aware about the joke. We should take things seriously in a matter of we should protect our children that are on the internet, and we should protect minors in general. Parents should monitor their children, but not, overdo it. We should still let them have some freedom when browsing the internet. But we should also monitor what they're doing. Ask who they're meeting. Ask who this new friend is of theirs. Look up this friend of theirs. Possibly even talk to that friend. Because in the end, you could risk your child falling to a predator, and we do not want this. We had many reveals this year about several predators. We've had many issues come along the way of people being scummy, people being scammers, people coming back unjustifiably. We have a lot of issues when it comes to the internet, because the internet is a wild, wild place. And we have many issues when it comes to monitoring people. But we have to make sure that we will monitor them well. Because if there's one tiny piece of evidence that will slip from our hands, and, if it won't be much of a matter to many people, then it could become an arising issue. I think I can use a good example being maps here. MAPs, not the animator ones, the actual maps. This video has, in general, to do, honestly, with just social things in general that I just find weird about 2020. I will probably title the video appropriately. I hope I will. Aside that, back to the topic. I think we should monitor everything people do. I think we should take screenshots aggressively of things that people might find weird. But at the same time, we should doubt what people do. Because sometimes people can be scummy, sometimes they can create fake screenshots, and sometimes we cannot distinguish what is fake and what is real. But that is exactly where you come in, or your friend group, or the screenshots you saved, that are actually legit and have, proven evidence. Having witnesses is the best possible thing to an accusation, because they can confirm if something happened or if it didn't happen. If there are multiple, victims, or there are multiple witnesses, you should consider their opinion. You should listen to them, because they have something important to say that might come in handy, that might actually let you know you were not at fault, that you got, pretty much hurt, that you were in this accident. Having witnesses is the most important part when it comes to social conflict, because they can determine if someone is actually guilty, someone is lying, or if, the person is innocent, because false accusations have been a thing since forever, already in the medieval times. Especially back then when it was more severe with executions and torture, when everything was very uncivilized, unclean, and a law didn't just exist. I think it's good to nowadays be very careful and to be skeptical. Being naive on the internet can lead to many issues and many things, like people who believe the earth is flat, people who think vaccines give children autism and it kills them. Those things are false, yet somehow they still believe it. And it all comes from people believing in the wrong things. There is the wrong or right in a belief, sometimes. I understand. It's especially prevalent if we talk about religion, because most of the time, people just go, oh, this religion is false, oh, this religion got it wrong. But it's a belief. Let people believe what they want to believe, as long as it doesn't harm anyone. Religion does not harm anyone unless you go out of your way to actually do it. There is a possible way of distinguishing a belief that is wrong and a belief that is right. Anti-vaxxers, for example, they have facts displayed, they have medical histories, they have everything in their possible database about medical health care that could, make them realize, oh wait, maybe my belief is wrong. And then again, you can compare it to religion, where it is not certain what is real and what is right. Bibles have different interpretations. God has different ways in our religions. We are all equal as humans. We all have the same organs. We have, similar bodies. We are all the same species. Yet somehow discrimination still exists, and somehow we still have issues with racism and discrimination, as well as meninists and feminists fighting for their rights when they sometimes unjustifiably want to convict one another when it isn't right and it's not the time to do that kind of thing. Right now we're in a global pandemic. Right now politics are in a disaster because we don't know what to do about this pandemic because we've never been prepared all those years ago. If you would have known and you would have been prepared, of course there would have been better outcomes. And it was very disastrous this year to, witness all of it. All those deaths, all those things written in blood just to be prepared next time for a better pandemic outcome. In general, rules are written in blood. We should consider them and we should never abandon them, because it could cost someone's life to disregard them. I think it's very valid for doxers and harassers especially. They are the worst types of people to come across. They will find out everything about you. They want to breach your privacy. They want to make your life a living hell. And yet some people condone it because it's partially now a part of cancel culture. People now think it's fine to dox people. People now think it's fine to be racist against both races. The world has become a really negative place lately. And that's why we should prevent those types of things from happening, I think it'd be reasonable to help each other instead of hate each other. Maybe we should all support each other. Maybe we should set our disagreements, our political beliefs, our religious beliefs aside, and we should work together to find a solution for the problem that we seek. There is a hope to be optimistic. There is hope for people who might be sick. In the future, there will be movement. In the future, there will be new medicine. Everyone will be helping each other. So we shouldn't fight against each other, against the race or a generation. We should all work together to improve the future for our children, for the society, for the future of our world. I think that's exactly what we should do in order to improve this world. Of course, not everyone will listen, but I think it would be nice to at least hope for a better future in the future. The future is now. Things that happened in the past will also stay in the past. If we manage to finally acquire a peaceful mindset where everyone can agree and disagree peacefully, without getting out guns, without insulting each other, without starting a fight, we could actually have hope for a good future. We just need to take part in tiny kind actions that would, cheer up everyone, that could help us, that could save our lives. Being a hero isn't easy. And of course, it's mostly fictitious to believe that maybe one day you could become a hero. But that's how change is made. There is a glimmer of hope to change something, to create something. Many great inventions from the past, like the light bulb, or several glass doors with those special bars where you can exit, they have all been tragedies of the past. Safety regulations have improved, thanks to the Middle Ages and medieval times. We're figuring out that things are dangerous. Materials like arsenic, aluminium, various gases like CO2, or other nitrogen kind of thingies. Just basically very poisonous stuff. I am not a chemist or anything. and I'm still just a stupid teenager in school, so I cannot, of course, speak loudly about this, because it's just my opinions and my hope for the future. That we can just all come along, fight together for a better future, and to set our things aside, like race, culture, and, from what country we come from, what nationality we have. We should all fight together, not fight against each other. This is not how the world should work. We should all have hope in each other. We should all encourage each other to make better changes. So why do we sometimes just stay so pessimistic? It's because people from the past might have hurt us. But we need to look past that. That's exactly why I need a good friend, I think. Because some people have been made from bitterness, from neglect, from abuse. And that's exactly why I think you should be a good friend, and why I think you should set your differences aside for your friends. There is a lot going on in the world, but we can still change that if we just believe in each other. Let everyone have their doubts, their own beliefs, their own hope. Maybe we can change for the better. Maybe we will be better people in the future if we just finally set our differences aside and connect each other and talk through the issue. Let everyone know what upsets you. Let people know that there can be a change, that there is hope out there. People struggle with COVID. People struggle with terminal illnesses, chronic illnesses, mentally deranged people that have to fight for their own good, so they will not lose their sanity. We need to encourage all of those people to keep on fighting, to keep on struggling, so we can finally have more equality, so we can have more of a culture to join us, so we can have more opinions, more brilliant minds to help us in the future. This is why friends are important. This is why it's important to be polite, to be patient, and to be doubtful. I think it's very good to have a doubt. I think it is good to gather evidence. I think it is good to do your own research. I think it is good to be informed by specialists in a certain field. This all contributes to your own intelligence. The more you acknowledge of the world and the more you think about it, the smarter you can become. The more you question things like morale and what could be right or wrong in a situation, the easier it is for you to figure out who you are, who you like, and who your friends are, and who your enemies are. Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer, as they can teach you many things and weaknesses about you that you can perfect on. Being rude isn't, of course, the key to everything, and doubting everything can also be bad, because it can lead to heavy skepticism that could also change your life for the worse. So having a belief, having a doubt, being kind, and to respect each other's opinions is the perfect way to go about living your life. As someone contributing to a society, as someone being alive, a human being. We're all human, and we all make mistakes. But we still have to learn from our mistakes. We still need to get a tiny finger pointed at us in order to understand what we did wrong. Because not everyone understands. Not everyone will always know what we did wrong. We need a helping hand. And that's exactly what friends are there for. That's exactly why you have communities. They can band together and help you. You can all help each other. You can all do something to do better for the future. And that's exactly why I think friends are important. That's why I think doubting yourself can be important. That's why I think speaking up about issues is important. I know it's all part of possibly philosophy, but I still want to believe that there are people out there who might have their point of view changed by just me rambling about how I feel about this entire situation of the current world. I'm not smart, and I know it. But at least discussing this would be a perfect thing, because that way we can gather more opinions. That way we'll have more of an idealistic future in the future. We will have more open-minded people. We might have better birth rates. We might have better parenting. I know most of the time on social media you see stupid people do dumb things and very skeptical articles, things that you might not believe. But maybe put aside a tiny bit of bias. Maybe put aside how you think and open up yourself to new people and let them know what you think and what they think back in turn. There will be an improvement in relationship if you can both agree on something despite disagreements and agreements together. You can both form a perfect community. You can both form a positive opinion of something. You can both be less pessimistic about the future and the views you have on a certain topic. Communication is important in our current lives. It's especially important due to the pandemic closing us all into a tiny confined space, where we will feel like we're imprisoned if you don't talk, if you don't have friends, if we're all lonely. We all, in the end, will survive it. That's true. But in the end, nothing will change if you won't contribute to it. So get out there, make new friends, talk to new people online, and try to make as much contactless conversations as possible, as it's still possible to talk to people, but you should also keep your distance from things you don't trust or topics you might not know much about. You should always doubt yourself, you should always trust yourself and in your own beliefs, and that's how I think maybe in the future everything could go better. I know I've rambled for probably a very long time, but I just hope that this random talking could have possibly just entertained you or could have made you think about something. I hope you liked the few opinions that I had myself about how you should think and how we should all possibly band together to help each other. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, thank you for looking at whatever I was drawing, and goodbye.